Welcome back to Tran's Play A Little Lily Princess. Today is July 18th, 2016.
It's decision time.
It's decision time. Sort of. You have additional chores to take care of, and I think that you are procrastinating so that you don't have to do them. You should get back to work because you are grateful to have a home.
Thanks, Miss Minchin. Apparently I hurt myself on the furniture.
Maybe you should stop.
Is there a stop option? Can I just not do chores? Oh, Thursday, nothing went wrong? What? Okay, see, I don't have to choose now. I don't have enough pride anyways, and everything I chose had an option of pride, so I went with...
You went with fate?
I went with fate, yes.
Girl!
Yes, cook?
Take this message into town. The address is printed on the envelope, see? Take it and go. Sara picked up the envelope and hesitated. What are you waiting for?
It's raining.
Oh, you have eyes and ears, do you? Mind you keep that letter dry as you go.
I haven't a carriage anymore.
Better walk faster then.
But...
And the tongue you found as well. Wondered how long that would take. Without warning, Cook lashed out with the wooden spoon she was holding, striking Sara hard upon the arm.
Ow!
That's what you get for talking back to me. Dogs aren't afraid of the rain. You're an animal the same as them, so you deal with it.
I don't think dogs like to go out in the rain either.
Are you gonna get moving, or am I gonna have to school you again? There was nothing else to be done. Sara bowed her head, hiding the pain in her arm and the stinging in her eyes, and walked out into the rain.
I think you said nothing. Just like because you've been reading all these people that go nothing ain't nothing.
Don't make me school you again.
Oh, okay.
So you can skip the weekend if you want to build up stats, or just...
Oh, I hadn't even thought of that. No, why'd you have to point that out? I didn't have to...
Distressing, because that's funny.
Why'd you do that to me? Well, no, that'd be a wasted week, so... Becky, I feel your sorrow. Ermengarde, I like you. Maybe someday we can be friends again.
Ermengarde was kind of a snot to you, admittedly.
What was she a snot? She just didn't know what to do. She felt uncomfortable with the situation, because she doesn't have social graces. It's true. Don't try to make this into something it's not.
A quiet tap at the door caught Sarah's attention. Do you need anything, miss?
Oh, Becky, please come in.
Do you want me to fluff your pillow, miss? Don't know if there's enough left of it to fluff, but I can give it a good punch.
No, it's fine. What I want most of all is your company.
That's easy to give.
Becky took a seat on the attic floor, not minding the dirt, and gazed up at Sara. You look a bit better, miss.
Do I?
Not like you used to, but better than you were the other week. You're talking more again. I like the eerie talk.
Oh. Now that you say that, I don't know what to say. I don't think I have any stories in my mind anymore.
That's alright. It takes time, it does. When Pa died and we had to go to the workhouse, I was sad for a long time.
What? Your father? I never knew anything about Becky's father, alive or dead. I never thought to ask. I'm sorry, I did not know.
Becky shrugged carelessly.
It were a long time ago, miss. You were a good un. Big and strong and never mean like some. Did his best to take care of us till he couldn't. That's about all I remember.
What did he do?
Worked down at the docks. Hard work. My mom couldn't cope without him, so we lost our room and was off to the steel for us.
The steel?
The workhouse, miss. That's what folks call it sometimes.
Oh, it must be from the Bastille.
She explained to a wide-eyed Becky about the French prisoners trapped in the dark for years, while their tangled beards grew around them.
Core, I'm glad I can't grow a beard.
What does core mean?
Like core blimey? What?
Yes.
I never knew it were anything to do with the French, miss. No one said.
If I still had my books, I could show you more about the history of what happened there.
She sighed faintly.
I miss so many things that there seems no point in dwelling on all of them. I miss my room and my books. I miss my papa most of all, but I do miss classes. I loved learning. I had so much left still to learn. I wasn't finished yet. I don't understand everything the way I was supposed to. If I can't go to classes anymore, I'm afraid I'll forget everything and my mind will be empty. Do you know what I mean?
Your mind is already empty, Becky.
Why are you looking at me?
Because you point out that the two girls that she has a chance of being around are the less wise ones out of the crew.
Right. So why are you looking at me?
So
I'm
saying
brilliant.
I'm saying it's kind of harsh, like she's asking Becky, she's a wonderful girl, but she doesn't have a whole lot of depth going on upstairs,
You're judging pretty harshly.
Well, she can't read.
I'm sorry we can't be all high and mighty as you.
Okay. Thank you. I don't know which voice it was. It sounded kind of like Cook a little bit. Okay. Anyways.
Don't make me school you.
No spoons for you.
Not really, miss. Guess I never knew anything much to forget.
Oh, I didn't mean to. I'm sorry. You are clever. I'm sure you could learn just as much as anyone if you were taught properly.
They taught us bits in the workhouse, miss. We were meant to learn good habits and Christian virtues and writing and arithmetic. Only not much of those last two, in case they got in the way of the first.
Sarah recalled the message on the pincushion, which Becky had made for her so lovingly.
That's right, Becky is literate, even if her spelling is worse than Lottie's. Were your teachers very helpful and encouraging?
Becky laughed.
If you think the missus is harsh, miss, you ought to see what the Masters of the Steel did to boys who asked questions.
But you can't learn if you don't ask questions.
You learn what they want you to learn, that's all. I reckon it would be different if you were a teacher, miss.
Oh, there you go.
Why? What?
She's going to teach.
Sarah's eyes lit with the idea.
Becky, that's it. I can teach you the things I know, and then I won't forget them. That is, if you're interested.
I don't know if I can do it, miss, but I can try.
I shall have to think of what would make a good lesson.
Right.
She stood up and brushed off her skirt.
I've got to go and sleep now, miss, but I'm glad to see you're feeling better.
She bobbed slightly, then hurried out of the room.
Am I?
Sarah lay back on her bed and contemplated her feelings. The darkness was not gone, not even mostly gone, but perhaps, with a good friend at her side, it might begin to lift.
Sarah. Yes, Miss Minchin? Take this. A Latin book? Do you want me to put this away for you, ma'am?
No, that is for you.
Am I going to be allowed to return to classes? Perhaps there was a mistake. Perhaps my papa lives in...
Of course not.
Her eyes got dim again.
Yeah. You are still an ignorant child. Be grateful that you are being given the chance to make something better of yourself. Study that in the evenings. You'll be examined on its contents to see how you are progressing. When you have learned the book satisfactorily, then and only then, I may grant you another.
To make a chore what should be a delight. But I'm hungry for books, and she knows it. Thank you, Miss Minchin.
I am pleased to see your attitude has improved somewhat. Remember, you are in my debt for all that was spent on you that your father never paid, but that does not mean that you can never be redeemed. Show a good Christian work ethic, serve as you are told, cause me no more trouble, and perhaps when you are an adult we will be able to come to a new arrangement.
Do you think you are a good Christian?
Now, on with your chores. Okay, so, what's Becky gonna want? I'm worried about this fatigue getting really high. I don't know what that's gonna do, but I feel like probably nothing.
Alright, I'll let you ask one of those two things. About preparing for Becky's requirements, or what happens if your stats get too high. You may ask me one of those two.
What happens if the stats get too high?
Nothing.
Wasted a question! Well, if I died, that would have been bad, so that would have been more important than Becky, I figured.
Yeah, but there's always a load game. It's not.
Well, I don't know if you let me, that's it.
Tran died in Lily Princess.
Well,
Lily
I would
Princess?
have to show the audience at least the ending.
Yeah.
Like, we can't just do a narrative and then not go through with it.
Okay, so what's Becky gonna want? She's pretty chill. Probably not a lot of pride.
One thing
She
you may
likes
not,
food.
one thing you may not have noticed is that the events generally have something to, the stats generally have something to do with the events. So it might not be that you need pride to talk to Becky. It might be that you need pride to do something in that next event. So let's say Miss Minchin lays the beat down on Becky. You might need pride to get in the way.
Stand up for us. Scullery girls.
That sounds like it'd be an interesting name for a band.
Scullery girls.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can see that. Alright. Let's do this. I got some pride.
You really don't want the pride, do you? Why?
I don't know. I'm
You'd
scared of it.
rather be so much hungry, cold, and sorrowful than pride. Look, she is completely exhausted. You'd rather have that than pride.
I didn't choose things purposely. I picked things to get some pride, but I also wanted to get some hunger because she has so little hunger.
Sarah's life was just as filled with people as it had always been. She lived in the same school, and the same faces surrounded her. And yet, it was a strange and lonely life. More often than not, there was no one at all that she could talk to. When she was sent out on errands and walked through the streets, a forlorn little figure carrying a basket or a parcel, she felt as if the crowds hurrying past her made her loneliness greater.
When I was the princess, sir, and I went out in the tower in my carriage, or walking with Mariette, everyone liked to turn and smile at me.
She had been a beautifully cared-for little girl, and such naturally attracted attention. Her bright, eager little face, her picturesque clothing, all had been rare and pleasant to look at.
No one looks at me now. No one seems to see me at all.
There was, unfortunately, no shortage of poor and shabbily dressed children in the streets of London. One more was nothing remarkable at all. Even with the great shock of her change in circumstances, Sarah's body had not ceased to grow. She had been allowed to keep only the oldest and least valuable of her clothing, which now fit quite badly indeed. As such, when it happened that Sarah passed by a shop window with a mirror in it, she did not at first recognize the reflected girl as herself. Her eyes disappeared again.
Oh, Papa, what would you think of your little missus now?
I've got the stuff. So I didn't waste my question with you because I got the stuff. I needed some pride. Ooh.
Yeah, but you were avoiding pride. You maxed out on fatigue. You might have gotten more pride if you weren't maxing out fatigue.
Well, I wasn't trying to max fatigue. It just kind of worked out that way. Alright, here we go, Becky.
It was unusual for Sarah and Becky both to be sent out of Miss Minchin's seminary at the same time, much less on the same errand. After all, with neither girl in the house, Cook would not have easy access to anyone to fetch and carry for her, and might be forced to bestir herself from the kitchen.
Serves her right. Slapping people.
She just has to carry something out.
Oh.
I don't think that is quite the good compensation for smacking people around.
Well, I know, but makes it sound like it's a big inconvenience. Well, she deserves at least an inconvenience to her life.
Maybe you shouldn't be talking back to her.
I didn't talk back to her.
Sure.
Well, I told her it was raining. She might not have known. She never leaves the kitchen after all.
However, there were times when the items needed were so bulky that even Miss Minchin could not expect Sarah to carry them alone.
Bodies.
You may perhaps be darker than me. In that case, rather than spend extra pennies for delivery, Sarah and Becky could be dispatched together.
Mind your feet, miss. There's a monkey bit there.
It's fine. I do this all the time.
You shouldn't otter, miss. You ought to be up riding high in one of them carriages.
Oh, well. You can't feel the breeze so much in a carriage, and sometimes they are very jolty. And you cannot see the sights nearly so well when you are boxed in.
Becky looked dubiously up at the drab building fronts they were passing.
What sights?
Oh, you never know unless you look. There might be something nice in a shop window. You can't read the covers of the books in the shop if you're going past in a carriage. Or you might find a flower growing up all unexpected in a crack between buildings, or a pretty button that someone has lost.
In truth, Sarah often found these errands disheartening. But it was her nature to make the best of things. In the face of Becky's skepticism, she relied even more upon her imagination. Just then, a carriage rattled past them, its wheels striking a bump in the road and sending pebbles flying onto the pavement.
Oh!
Are you hurt, miss? Did one of them hit you?
No, I'm fine, but I thought I saw...
She bent low and picked up the largest pebble.
Look, Becky, look!
What is that?
It's a fossil!
She turned the stone over in her hands. On most sides, it was only smooth gray stone, but one particular angle revealed the ghostly white pattern of a shell.
Just think, Becky. Hundreds, thousands, maybe even millions of years ago, there was a living creature there.
Millions?
Well, I don't know. I don't know how you can tell how old a fossil is. I suppose the scientists at the museum might know. The dinosaur they had was millions of years old, I'm sure of that.
What?
Oh dear, I don't suppose Becky's teachers at the workhouse would have told her anything about the latest scientific discoveries. Dinosaur, it means fearfully great lizard. Bigger than horses. The biggest ones are even bigger than houses.
Like dragons?
Yes, a lot like dragons, but they died a long, long time ago. All that we have left of them is their bones, in fossils, just like this pebble.
Even though the pebble quite clearly did not contain a dragon bone, Becky stared at it just as much awe.
Look at her eyes, like, ooh, dinosaurs.
All that and rocks and stuff.
Sarah smiled wistfully.
I wish I could take you to the museum and show you everything that we saw. I wish I could go back. I had so much left to learn. But you see, there are still wonderful things in our lives, full of magic and adventure. This pebble looks small and unimportant, but it holds the secrets of the past. Even the small, overlooked creatures of the world are still precious.
Becky grinned at her.
Oh, like us, we're small and overlooked.
Okay, you might be small. I'm larger than life!
Punching pillows and everything, yes.
Yes, I'm so pro. I'm the pro maid around here. I'm gonna show you how it's done.
Okay, you tell me how to deal with those rats.
Well, first, you gotta get a little bit of cheese like this. And you
Where am
put
I going to get cheese? From Cook?
Yes. When she's not looking,
Well, miss, I reckon you're more precious than I am. But won't neither of us be worth much if Cook thinks we've been dawdling?
See? Cook, she'll know about the cheese.
Sarah put the pebble back on the ground, where it might be discovered by some other curious child.
Oh, she's so nice. Everyone else would keep it. She just puts it down for another child to enjoy. Like the odds of another kid picking it up and knowing what it is and caring.
That's very, very insignificant, especially if it's just like a latest scientific discovery.
Right.
You're right. You had better hurry and get back to the Bastille.
This deal, miss?
Isn't it just like a prison? I am the prisoner of conscience, locked away because I would not serve an evil regime. I have been locked up for years and years and years, and everyone has forgotten about me. Miss Midget is a wicked jailer who stalks up and down the halls at night with a great metal ring of keys on her belt, clanking and clanging, just to taunt us. And you, Becky, you are the prisoner in the next cell, whom I can hear through the walls but never see.
Why would I be in prison?
Oh, simple Becky.
Oh, it was probably mistaken identity. Somebody else stole a loaf of bread because they were hungry, and the gendarmes thought it was you, and they wouldn't listen to your story, so they locked you up.
Becky nodded. It seemed perfectly plausible from her experience of the world.
We must invent a secret code, a way that we can communicate with each other without our jailer overhearing us. That way, even when we are locked into our cells, we are never alone.
Oh, miss.
What is it?
Only that it ain't right for me to be glad you're here when you're only here because of all the bad things that happened to you. I'm sorry.
Oh, Becky, you don't have to be sorry. I know you must have been very lonely in that attic by yourself sometimes. If I didn't have you, I don't know how I could survive. Is it wrong for me to be glad that you are here with me? when I should be wishing that you had a happy life somewhere else?
I don't think I'd know how to be happy, miss, if I weren't with you.
Sarah laughed.
How light you make me feel. And how light on our feet we'd better be if we don't want Cook to scold us. Or school us.
Girls! Where are you?
Getting fossils. Quintus Filius Est.
Sarah sat alone in her attic room, practicing the vocabulary from the Latin books she had been given.
Oh, she gave her a dead language book. That's kind of cold. I hadn't thought about that till now.
Matella mater pueri est.
She could scarcely hear her own voice over the rattling of rain on the slate roof. The sound of droplets surged and danced in waves, seeming to form words she could almost understand.
I cannot concentrate.
She set the book on the thin mattress and looked up at the blurred, shifting images through the wet skylight. If she stood on her bed and looked out the skylight, when it was not dark or raining, she could see the attic window of the house next to Miss Minchin's seminary.
Oh, who's gonna appear in the attic? Something's happening.
Emily.
Whoa, where is Emily in all this? We still have her, as far as I understood.
Emily wanders the house at night. That's the way the scritching and scratching is coming from within
it's not
the walls.
the rats. Ooh. I don't know which is worse. Probably Emily.
Probably, yes.
Well, she's not necessarily evil. She could just be a living doll.
Yeah. But if she's evil, she's probably evil on your behalf.
I wish someone would move into that house. Suppose that one morning I looked out and saw the window propped open and a head and shoulders framed within it. And it was Emily.
I think it'd be creepier if it was just a head and shoulders and it was actually framed in there. Like as a bust.
Yeah. If it, it's an awkward line, a nice head.
If it looked a nice head, I would begin by saying, "Good morning," and then all sorts of things might happen. Of course, it's not really likely that anyone but underservants would sleep in an attic.
Sarah looked around at the dark and dirty environment that had become her living space. All around, the world is gray. The few spots of color, the old red footstool, the book's cover, Emily's hair, were like fish in muddy water, glimpsed for moments and then fading away.
This is the best I can look forward to for the rest of my life, to have books when Miss Minchin decides that I am worthy of them. When I am older, she will make me a teacher, but she will never pay me. There will always be more debt. She'll be obliged to give me more respectable clothes for the school's sake, but they will still be plain and ugly and make it clear that I am a servant, and I will never escape.
Then a thought came back to her which made the color rise in her cheek and a spark light itself in her eyes. She straightened her thin little body and lifted her head.
Whatever comes cannot alter one thing. If I am a princess in rags and tatters, I still can be a princess inside. It would be easy to be a princess if I were dressed in a cloth of gold, but it is a great deal more of a triumph to be one all the time when no one knows it. Marie Antoinette, when she was in prison, and her throne was gone, and she had only a black gown and her hair was white, and they insulted her and called her the widow capet, she was a great deal more like a queen then than when she was so gay and everything was so grand. I like her best then. Those howling mobs of people did not frighten her. She was stronger than they were, even when they cut her head off.
And maybe that will be framed over in the... And then she will say, "Good morning."
Nothing I am facing is as frightening as that.
A quiet tap at the door caught Sarah's attention.
Do you need anything, miss?
Oh, Becky, please come in.
Do you want me to fluff your pillow, miss? Don't know if there's enough left.
Why are you laughing? That's so sad.
I don't know. Probably.
Is it the left part or the punch part?
I don't know. Let me... Hold on.
Do you want me to fluff your pillow, miss? Don't know if there's enough.
You started laughing first.
I was sorry. All right, I'll look away.
Hold on.
You want me to fluff your pillow, miss? Don't know if there's enough left of it to fluff, but I can...
Let's just go.
No, I have to do this
Okay,
line.
fine. Okay, hold on. Give us...
You need to stop cracking up. Here, I'm gonna make you look at me while I say this.
Do you want me to fluff your pillow, miss? Don't know if there's enough left of it to fluff, but I can give it a good punch.
That was you.
I think it's the punch.
Okay.
Okay, hold on. I have to say the line.
You did say it.
It has to be good. It has to be good.
Do you want to leave while you do it and then come back?
Would you leave?
Do you want me to fluff your pillow, miss? Don't know if there's enough left of it to fluff, but I can give it a good punch.
Thank you.
Very
Thank
nice. Okay. Whew. No, it's fine. What I want most of all is your company.
you. Look, she's smiling and she has her eyes back.
Yeah.
You're
right.
Oh.
Wait, you, Sarah.
I forget.
Back off. Hey. Or Crook will school you. You're right. You better hurry and get back. You're right. You better hurry and get back to the Bastille.
Latin.
You know I don't know Latin.
Yeah, I know.
Quintus filius est.
Well, say it in her voice.
Oh, yeah. Quintus filius est.